So why are we here today? It's because we're very passionate about railroads and railroading. As a matter of fact, I'm so passionate about railroading, I married into two railroad families. Well, not at the same time, but one was in the operating division and one was in freight sales. The latter one now is running close to 40 years, so I think we've done pretty good there. Railroads, both freight and passenger, play a real key role in moving goods and people through Texas and the Southwest. Today we're going to hear from a lot of the industry leaders and find out where we are right now and where we're going in the future. There's some good news. Overall freight rail traffic, according to the Association of American Railroads, they just released a report. Rail traffic rose 3.4% in 2017. Led by a 3.9% increase in intermodal year over year. So rail traffic in 2017 finished on a very positive note. There's major infrastructure and surface transportation bills that hopefully we're going to see in Congress in 2018. And AAR President and CEO Ed Hamburger, who I met with a few months ago in Washington, has 4 areas that the AAR is concentrating on. And that is, number 1, making the highway trust fund solvent. Number 2 is putting transportation modes on equal footing. Number 3 is streamlining permitting, which I'm sure everybody would like to see. And number 4 is emphasizing Amtrak and commuter railroads. But before we start delving into what's to come, I'd like to take a step back and take a look at what happened in 2017 here in Texas and the Southwest. This is a presentation. You can go ahead and cue it on up. Calling it the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you know what? I just forgot my little clicker. Hang on. Well, even the best plans go awry sometime. Well, it was kind of a rough year in some aspects, the bad and the ugly. Houston, everybody knows about Hurricane Harvey and the devastation that happened down there. Knocked out a lot of transportation, took a lot of work to put things back in order again. Kansas City Southern, again, ran their Holiday Express train, distributed over $172,000 worth of gift cards, did a lot of great work along their route. TexRail is actually this year going to open up their line between downtown Fort Worth and DFW Airport, and they're going to be using the Statler Flirt cars. We had a little bout during 2017 with Amtrak and almost lost service to 220 cities in the U.S. Fortunately, that did not occur, because a lot of those smaller and intermediate-sized towns rely upon Amtrak for their service, because sometimes they don't have bus service, sometimes they don't have air service. We also experienced the Texas legislature's assault on passenger trains, and there were dozens of bills that got filed in the legislature. 2 did pass. One prohibits state money for use on high-speed rail, and which is something we may come to regret in the future. And the other was Senate Bill 975 to take certain security precautions. Big event, Houston groundbreaking, 2 million square foot of UP-served, rail-served facilities. We lost some old-timers here. The old TRE Bud cars went to Vermont. And again in 2017, TxDOT failed to include passenger rail in future planning. Something else we may come to regret. Union Pacific spent over $452 million in Texas infrastructure. KCS has a new cargo processing facility at Laredo, and BNSF put $255 million down on their work here in Texas. UP unveiled their 1943 Spirit locomotive in San Antonio. And a major milestone, the Texas Bullet Train, the draft environmental impact statement was released just this past month. And of course, those are going to go under meetings as we speak, starting this next week. The FRA also released the Texas-Oklahoma Passenger Rail Study Service Level Report. And the Texas Freight Mobility Plan 2017. For the first time ever, short line and regional railroads are now included in the Freight Mobility Plan. And yesterday we had a good briefing at the Texas Short Line and Regional Railroad Association meeting across the hall here. That's an organization that has started to get very, very active. I think you're going to see a lot of things pop up from them in the future. GE decides that they want to shed their locomotive facilities and sell off their plant in Fort Worth at Erie. And right after they announce that, CN orders 200 locomotives. Good timing. And we have a Texas native, a fellow who was born in Galveston, was named the new Amtrak CEO, Richard Anderson, former Delta Airlines CEO. The South Orient Rail Line rehab project, 90 miles completed, and there was a celebration done on that just a few weeks ago. And two big projects here in Dallas. The downtown Dallas transit study called D2 for the combination subway surface line for a reliever, and also the Cotton Belt project, which is going to hook DFW Airport into the cities of Richardson and Coppell and Carrollton, Plano, and Richardson. And sadly, we have to say we lost someone here in 2017 who will not be at today's conference, Paul Mangelsdorf. He was one of the original founding members of Texas Rail Advocates back in 2000, a very ardent rail supporter, and he passed away in 2017, and we're going to miss Paul. There we go. All right, so this year, you're going to notice on the agenda that we're a little bit more skewed toward passenger rail developments and issues than we are freight rail, and that's because of so many things that are happening in passenger rail that we haven't seen in the last 20 years. It's just been an amazing transition year for that. But we do have some interesting programs coming up today from BNSF. We're going to talk about PTC later this afternoon, and we want to move right now into our first presentation, which is going to be from Union Pacific.